In our early February 2026, the streets of Burkina Faso offered an image of change. Not inside a conference room, but in public view, the president of the Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traore, handed over 2,000 motorcycles to the national police. It was a simple act with meaning. These machines were not symbols. They were tools meant to move faster, reach farther, and protect people where life happens. For many years, urban security was an anxiety for families. Slow response times, limited patrol coverage, and unseen corners created fear after sunset. Today, something different is taking shape. Cities are calmer, traffic is organized, and the presence of police is visible. This did not happen by chance. By choosing to equip the police with mobility, the leadership made a clear statement. Security is not an abstract promise. It is a service delivered on time in the right place for citizens. When a patrol arrives quickly, fear loses ground. This handover marks more than a delivery of vehicles. It reflects a political vision that puts public safety at the center of national priorities. It shows a government choosing action over speeches. In Burkina Faso, security is becoming something people can feel every day. During the years before 2025, urban security in Burkina Faso was fragile and uneven. Large cities expanded quickly while police mobility lagged behind. Response times were slow, patrol coverage was limited, and many neighborhoods felt invisible after dark. This gap created daily stress for families, traders, and commuters who simply wanted to move safely through their city. The turning point came with the launch of Operation Wibga during the end-of-year period. The objective was clear: to protect people and property across the entire national territory at the most sensitive moment of the year. Day and night, patrols were intensified. Major roads were monitored, places of worship were secured, and emergency response was reinforced. The results were concrete and measurable. Hundreds of thousands of people and vehicles were checked. Dangerous items were seized, and criminal networks were disrupted. More importantly, the overall crime rate declined. Accidents were handled faster, victims were evacuated to health centers, and the presence of security forces became visible and reassuring. Cities did not shut down in fear, they remained active and alive. This context matters because the delivery of 2,000 motorcycles did not come in isolation. It arrived after proof that coordinated action works. Urban security was no longer treated as a theory, but as a daily responsibility. The improvement people felt on the streets created trust and momentum. By early 2026, the message was clear. Burkina Faso cities were not perfect, but they were moving in the right direction. The handover of new motorcycles built on this progress. It reinforced a system already showing results and signaled that improvement was not temporary. Urban security had become a sustained national effort. It prepared the ground for deeper reforms, stronger presence, and lasting confidence among urban communities nationwide. In Burkina Faso, the structure of cities makes mobility a decisive factor in security. Narrow streets, dense neighborhoods, informal markets, and constant traffic create conditions where large vehicles struggle to operate efficiently. In this environment, speed and presence matter more than size. This is why motorcycles have become a strategic tool for urban policing. A motorcycle allows an officer to move quickly through crowded areas, reach locations that cars cannot access, and respond within minutes instead of long delays. It transforms security from a distant force into a visible companion of daily life. When patrols circulate frequently, people feel watched over rather than forgotten. Criminal behavior loses the advantage of time and distance. The decision to provide 2,000 motorcycles is therefore not symbolic. It directly increases patrol density across cities and towns. More units on the road mean more checkpoints, more rapid intervention, and better coverage of neighborhoods that were previously exposed. A single motorcycle can patrol multiple zones in one shift, creating a flexible and adaptive security network. Motorcycles also change the psychology of intervention. Officers arrive before situations escalate. Minor incidents are handled early. Accidents receive faster assistance. The simple fact of arriving quickly can prevent violence and save lives. In urban security, minutes matter, and motorcycles give those minutes back to the state and to citizens. This mobility fits perfectly with the security concept that Burkina Faso has been building. Programs based on continuous presence, rapid response, and close contact with communities depend on speed and access. The motorcycle becomes the physical extension of this approach. It connects strategy to reality. By expanding motorcycle patrols, the state does not just add equipment. It reshapes how security is delivered. Streets become more predictable, more controlled, and less vulnerable to sudden disorder. For ordinary citizens, this translates into calmer evenings, safer travel, and renewed confidence in public authority. Mobility becomes protection, and protection becomes part of everyday urban life. The image of the president personally handing over motorcycles to the national police carries a message that goes far beyond logistics. It reflects a leadership style where authority is directly connected to responsibility. Captain Ibrahim Traore does not govern security from a distance. He places himself at the center of decisions that affect daily life. This approach sends a clear signal to security forces. They are not operating alone or in isolation. They are supported at the highest level of the state. When the head of state delivers tools with his own hands, it creates a sense of duty and accountability. Equipment becomes a mandate. Results are expected because trust has been given openly. Traore leadership is marked by visible action rather than prolonged rhetoric. Instead of announcing long-term intentions, he focuses on immediate capacity. He equips, deploys, and follows through. This rhythm changes how institutions function. It shortens the gap between decision and implementation. Citizens see change not in documents, but on the streets. Security under this leadership is treated as a foundation of national reconstruction. Traore understands that without safe cities, economic recovery, social cohesion, and public confidence cannot take root. Urban security, therefore, becomes a strategic priority equal to development and sovereignty. The handover of motorcycles fits into this broader vision. There is also a psychological effect on the population. When citizens see the president involved directly in security matters, they feel reassured. It communicates that their safety is not secondary. It belongs to the core mission of the state. This perception strengthens trust between people and institutions. Finally, this leadership style reinforces discipline within the security sector. Support is matched with expectation. Mobility is given so that presence increases. Authority is exercised so that protection improves. Through this balance of power and responsibility, Ibrahim Traore shapes a security policy that is firm, visible, and closely tied to the everyday reality of citizens across Burkina Faso. Security that places citizens at the center is measured not only by arrests or statistics, but by how daily life feels. In Burkina Faso, this idea has taken a concrete form. The objective is not to intimidate, but to protect. It is about ensuring that ordinary activities can continue without fear. During recent security operations, attention was given to places where life concentrates. Markets, roads, places of worship, and residential areas received focused patrols. This approach recognized that safety is experienced in specific moments. People want to travel without anxiety, pray without disturbance, and return home without tension. These simple expectations define human security. Road safety illustrates this philosophy clearly. Campaigns combined awareness with enforcement. Officers intervened not only to punish but to prevent tragedy. Accidents were addressed quickly, and victims were assisted without delay. The message was clear. Protection matters more than punishment. This model also invites citizens to participate. Security is no longer seen as the exclusive responsibility of uniformed forces. Individuals are encouraged to respect rules, stay alert, and cooperate. When people feel protected, they are more willing to engage. Trust replaces fear, and collaboration becomes natural. Motorcycle patrols strengthen this citizen-focused approach. Their visibility reassures residents and shortens the distance between the state and communities. Officers on motorcycles are approachable, present, and responsive. They operate within neighborhoods rather than above them. This proximity builds confidence. By placing citizens at the heart of security policy, Burkina Faso changes the relationship between authority and society. Safety becomes a shared objective rather than an imposed order. The result is not only fewer incidents, but stronger social cohesion. When people feel secure, they feel respected. And when security serves people, it becomes sustainable. To understand the significance of recent security measures, it is necessary to look back. In earlier years, urban security in Burkina Faso suffered from limited resources and slow coordination. Patrol units lacked mobility. Interventions often arrived late. Many neighborhoods felt exposed, especially at night. The gap between citizens and security institutions widened. Equipment was scarce and often outdated. Investments arrived slowly and were sometimes dependent on external support. This situation reduced confidence and limited the ability of forces to maintain constant presence. Security became reactive rather than preventive. Criminal activity benefited from these weaknesses. Today, the contrast is visible. Decisions are faster, and implementation follows quickly. The delivery of 2,000 motorcycles illustrates this shift clearly. Instead of waiting for gradual improvements, the state chose a decisive upgrade in mobility. This change allows security forces to be proactive. They patrol before incidents occur and intervene before situations escalate. Another difference lies in organization. Recent operations show better coordination between police, gendarmerie, and emergency services. Roles are clearer and coverage is wider. The result is a security network that functions as a system rather than isolated units. Citizens notice this coherence in daily life. The change is also psychological. Where uncertainty once dominated, there is now a sense of control. People adjust their habits positively. Shops stay open longer, traffic flows more calmly, and public spaces regain activity. These are signs of confidence returning to urban life. This comparison highlights a fundamental transformation. Burkina Faso has moved from limited reactive security to structured preventive presence. The state no longer manages insecurity only when it explodes. It invests ahead of time. The motorcycles symbolize this break with the past. They represent a choice to protect earlier, move faster, and stay closer to citizens in every neighborhood. The delivery of 2,000 motorcycles to the national police brings together several elements that define Burkina Faso's current direction. Mobility equipment and organization converge into a single message. Security is no longer treated as an abstract promise, but as a concrete service delivered where people live and move. These motorcycles represent more than machines. They symbolize a state that chooses to arrive earlier, stay longer, and remain closer to citizens. Faster response, stronger presence, and wider coverage transform how security is experienced in cities. Protection becomes visible and predictable rather than distant and uncertain. This approach fits within a broader national vision. As Burkina Faso prepares for the years ahead, security is understood as the foundation of development. Education, health commerce, and social cohesion all depend on safe urban spaces. Without stability, growth cannot take root. By strengthening urban security, the state prepares the ground for long-term progress. Some external observers may describe these measures as excessive or restrictive. Such views often ignore local realities. In Burkina Faso, improved security has focused on protecting daily life, reducing accidents, and restoring confidence. It has not targeted political expression or social activity. On the contrary, it has allowed cities to breathe again. The experience offers a lesson. Security does not have to create fear. When designed around citizens, it creates freedom. People walk, travel, trade, and gather with less anxiety. Public spaces regain their role as places of connection rather than tension. In the end, the image of the president handing over the keys carries a simple meaning. Security is a shared responsibility anchored at the highest level of the state and lived at the level of the street. Through decisive action, Burkina Faso shows that protecting citizens is not a slogan. It is a daily commitment expressed through presence, mobility, and trust.